than a few teams, more than a handful of teams were going to be that good. And suddenly you've got a team like Indianapolis with one loss in the season. You've got a team like the Patriots, who are now on the top of the East in the AFC. Kansas City was down. Now they're starting to come back up. I mean, there's just a lot going on, and you don't know what to make of it. And then you look at the Green Bay Packers, who were once everybody's darling atop the power rankings, and then they had a loss and a tie, then a win that wasn't great, but it's a win. But the loss and the tie could have been prevented by just better special teams. Otherwise, this team could maybe have one loss or even be undefeated. It's just so bizarre. When you start to think about it, it's just so bizarre. If you want to get a hold of us, you can. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. You can find us there. You can also track us down and let your voice be heard via text message. Always appreciate the texts. You can find us there via text message 608-321-1670. We've got YouTube. All of our friends over there on YouTube that watch each and every day and each and every week on the Bill Michaels Huddle. Thank you so much. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show, youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. You can find us on Twitter, on X, @Bill_Michaels, @Bill_Michaels. You can find Grant Bills @Wisco Grant. Also, we're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok under the Bill Michaels Show. On the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app as well. We are an app ourselves, which is Wisco Sports Zone. Wisco Sports Zone. 3 words, put them all together. Wisco Sports Zone. And you're good to go. You can find us via email, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. The website simply thebillmichaels.com. Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcast after the fact. There we are. And then we are a television show, My24 TV in Milwaukee. My24 TV in Milwaukee. So plenty of ways to track us down. Has the fervor and the angst subsided, Grant, regarding the Milwaukee Brewers now that we've had a whole day basically to talk it out?
I think so. Probably more than this morning. I don't know. I think a lot of the frustration is that it happened 2 nights in a row.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you lose game 1, 8-7, and then you're blanked basically by the starter for 9 innings in game 2, then maybe it's a little different. I think it's more just disappointment. That's what I've kind of heard on my show more than anger, more than frustration. It's just, I don't know. That's a bummer watching them go out like this.
I can see that. That's about where we're at. And all of that. It's about kind of where we're at, that it was just disappointing. And now you're kind of holding your breath to see what's going on, to see if it, culminates or if they're able to kind of climb their way out of the hole that they've dug for themselves. So now we wait and see. In the meantime, the Brewers try to get back at it. And today, with the Brewers being back on the practice field, the Packers injury report, it's got a long list. You've got Jacob Monk and Christian Watson, both eligible to come back, designated for return from the IR within that 21-day window, which began last week. In the meantime, you had limited participation from Aaron Banks, the guard. So that's good news. Anthony Belton, he had the ankle injury. He was limited. That's good news. Warren Brinson, the big defensive lineman, he was back. He had kind of an abdomen injury and a neck injury. He was back. Javon Bullard, fully back from the concussion evaluation, full participant today. Matthew Golden has a shoulder issue, but full participant today. Josh Jacobs, he's been sick, which we know. He's coming back from that. He was limited today. Brandon McManus did not practice today, giving him some more time off. Jordan Morgan has the knee. He was limited. Zach Tom, and he's got the back. He's got the oblique. He comes back. He plays. He goes out. He comes back. Then he's back on the list. And so he did not practice today. Lucas Van Ness with the ankle injury didn't practice today either. Dontavian Wicks with the ankle issue. He was limited today. Devontae Wyatt did not practice, having that knee issue. So there you go. Don't get me wrong. You've got a whole slew, including Marvin Harrison Jr., the wide receiver with the Arizona Cardinals, a whole slew of people on their injury report as well. But most of them were limited today. There's only a few that did not participate, one being the ankle issue of Amari Demacado, the running back. He did not practice today. And also Zay Jones, the wide receiver, did not practice today. But everybody else pretty much out there. Kevin Beecham, the big offensive line, but that was just because of rest. He's a veteran. They give him the rest. So he didn't practice, but doesn't mean he's not going to play. So there you go. That's the whole rundown. In the meantime, the Packers heading back out to Arizona and trying to get themselves a win in doing so, and to try to keep this thing kind of going. You got to get the win in AZ because you're going to face Pittsburgh coming up, and Pittsburgh's going to get a little bit of an extended rest. Why? Because Pittsburgh plays Cincinnati coming up on Thursday night. Aaron Rodgers having a hell of a season, a 105.4 quarterback rating, 10 touchdowns, only 3 picks. His completion percentage is up around 69%. He's thrown for over 1,000 yards already. And DK Metcalf, his favorite target, already has 4 touchdowns on the season. So they're getting it done. And, oh, by the way, Nick Herbig and TJ Watt have combined already for 11 sacks. So you know they're going to have a field day. You would assume anyway they're going to have a field day against the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that they face twice a season. But like I said, you got to get through Arizona first before you start worrying about Pittsburgh. But this is why this game becomes more important, because you look at the game against Arizona and you think, okay, get this one, couple of wins in a row. You're back to 4-1-1. You know, you're feeling good about things. Kyler Murray not having a great season, 6 touchdowns, 3 picks. You got Jordan Love, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. But Kyler Murray, for some of the numbers that he's put up, at times have looked good. He's only thrown for 962 yards. When you look at a guy like Jordan Love, who's already thrown for almost 1,300 yards. But one of his targets, Marvin Harrison Jr., coming back from the concussion, Trey McBride, he's been good, only dented the end zone a couple of times. I just feel like this is a game that's set up for the Packers to get a win, but they got to go out and take care of business in a much, much better fashion than what they showed us, at least more consistently on Sunday. So just my thought on it, on the whole thing. Jordan Love throwing for 259 yards and a touchdown and a pick in that game last week. He, by the way, he ranks 5th in the NFL with a 110.9 quarterback rating. Jordan Love does. He's having a hell of a year. There's just been little things here and there that have prevented him from kind of raising himself to that upper echelon. It's like he's right on the cusp. If you eliminate some of the things, some of the little mistakes, the errant throw for an interception on a couple of different occasions so far this season, the ones that he continually says, well, we got to learn from that, and I got to get better. You got to learn from it. You're right. Got to learn from it. Everybody loves the aggressiveness. Everybody loves the will to win. But also there's a level of you got to be smart with the football. Live to fight another day. And if he eliminates some of the little mistakes, he can then begin to ascend to a whole different echelon where people look at him in a little bit different and much higher light. Is that a good assessment of where Jordan Love is right now, Grant?
Yes, but I would go even farther to say to me, it's like an offense-wide thing. Like Jordan Love, what does he have? 2 interceptions this year?
Yeah.
And I know they're both bad. One is a red zone and one against the Browns. Yeah. But I like to think this way, and I know not everybody does. But if they just make a field goal and win the Browns game, and they won the Bengals game despite his interception, like I don't think Jordan Love's decision-making has really been a problem. The problem is he misses a throw here, a throw gets dropped there, there's a pre-snap penalty. I think it's more emblematic of the whole offense than it is Jordan Love. Now, if they play a really good team and he has one of those picks, then it'll cost them. You know what I mean? In a way that it didn't on Sunday or that it shouldn't have in Cleveland. I think it's more of an offense-wide thing.
I think, though, about the interception, it wasn't because of a penalty in the Detroit game. And then the other one that he threw that was right in the hands of the defender, very bad pass, and it was dropped. I also think of the 2-minute cluster that they had in Dallas that they didn't. And again, that could be more emblematic of the offense overall, but I look at some of these game managerial things, the 2-minute warning coming down the field in Cincinnati. I look at some of these things and I think there's been a litmus of enough mistakes to say, if you fix these little things, there's been 1 or 2 things per game that you can look at and go, not good. And it's everybody has an errant throw. Okay, like the overthrow to Luke Musgrave. I'm not overly concerned about that because he came right back right after that and threw that 35-yard dime to Matthew Golden. That was absolutely perfect. Every now and then, one gets away from it. It is what it is. But some of the decision-making that has been made in, like I said, the 2 that should have been, could have been, would have been in the Detroit game, the bad pass deep in their own territory in Cleveland, and then the red zone pass against Cincinnati, plus the two-minute warning or the 2-minute clock mismanagement down in Dallas. And I kind of go, oh, okay, he's a couple of decisions away from being either really, really good, or are you going to continue to step on your junk in the biggest of moments at times? And that's what we're kind of waiting to see. I have a feeling he's going to ascend. That's what I'm hoping for. But we're just kind of waiting to see. But again, like you said, it's not all on Jordan Love. They've had some ineptitude. And I really go back to, you look at a guy, when I go through the injury report, you look at the offensive line. It's been banged up. It hasn't been together really all season long. Just when you thought you get it back, Zach Tom back down. Belton is not there. They're moving guys around. You know, they haven't had 2 games or 3 games together where they can say, okay, now we get each other. You know, Rasheed Walker next to Belton next to Jenkins now as the center next to Sean Ryan, and then Zach Tom to that side. The only 2 guys that have played consistently together are Zach Tom and Sean Ryan on that side of the line, on the right side of the offensive line. Other than that, nobody's played together. Nobody's had that cohesiveness as a unit yet. And it's been effective. We've seen that in the run game, I think in the run statistics, until the second half of the game against Cincinnati, when they finally started to play a little better up front, a little better in the trenches. They got Josh Jacobs, which we saw. You and I talked last week about the identity. What's the identity of this team? And then we saw it start to emerge, because the identity is, well, maybe it's going to be the run game. It's going to be Josh Jacobs. It's going to be starting to pound the rock, get him more involved, and open up things for everybody else. So that's what I thought. What I got out of it anyway last week. In some of the negative, I completely understand. But some of the other stuff, some of the positive stuff, that's what I start to look at, and I go, okay, maybe there is an ascension here if this thing just kind of stays together and they get a little more familiarity between each other. So anyway, that being said, let's do this. We'll take our first break. We'll come back. We got a lot to get to today. We're going to hear from Matt LaFleur. Going to hear from Mike Clemens coming up bottom of the hour. Top of the hour, we got some buy or sell next hour, right? We do. We have some buy or sell next hour. Yeah. We did Mark Schofield today. So no Mark Schofield. He had some something come up last minute, and that's okay. That's okay. He had some things to take care of. And then after that, we'll get into our picks, which have been befuddling, to say the very least. Is that a good term for it? Befuddling?
Yeah, you know what? I'm chalking it up to the game. I'm chalking it up to football, man. Like,
right?
I think we're making some good picks and we're getting boned, which is gambling.
Right.
But like, seriously, we went into Monday Night Football. I hit about 500. You were slightly behind me. All we needed was a good Monday night slate, and we both would have had solid weeks. And then the Bills lose to Atlanta, and the Commanders step on their hog late against Chicago and fumble the ball.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? What are we supposed to do?
Right.
So yeah, we haven't been great, but I would like to not be held responsible, which again is not how gambling works.
I can live with that. Sure. I'm glad we're not throwing a bunch of money down on every game. So that's not a bad thing. All right, let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. It's a Wednesday night. The Huddle's up and running. Hopefully you're enjoying your night wherever you're at. We appreciate you being here and being a part of the program. More of the Huddle coming up right after this. Stay tuned.
This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Good to have you with us. So Wednesday night huddle, always fun. Green Bay Packers getting ready to head off to Arizona. Packers are 46-24-4 against the Cardinals. Green Bay 19-7 in the month of October, by the way, against the Cardinals, with wins in each of the last 5 meetings with this team, including last season. So since they moved to Arizona, by the way, Green Bay 9-3 over the Cardinals during the regular season. The Packers won the last matchup in Arizona 24-21. That was back in 2021. Wasn't that the Hail Mary, Grant, if I'm not mistaken? Was that the Hail Mary Aaron Rodgers threw to win the game?
Say that one more time. Which game?
The Packers won the last matchup with Arizona in 2021. That was a 24-21 game. Was that the Hail Mary game?
That was that the Rasul Douglas game where he picked off Kyler Murray in the end zone?
Maybe
Was that the Thursday night game where they were without Devontae Adams?
Yeah.
I think that's the one.
Okay. There was one that was a Hail Mary game. I remember that. And I know they won the Hail Mary game in December. That was December 3rd, going back to how many years ago? But I thought they had a Hail Mary game in Arizona too. Can't remember positively. But nevertheless, the Packers have kind of owned Arizona in recent history. So there you go. All the Packers games dating back quite some time. The Packers, short of that postseason game against Arizona, against Kurt Warner and company, they've had a lot of success against the Arizona Cardinals. So we'll see if that persists this coming weekend as they head out to Phoenix. Let's do this. Matt LaFleur spoke today, and we'll get this, and then bottom of the hour we got Mike Clemens coming up. But Matt LaFleur spoke to the media today. It was short, it was sweet, it was quick, and here it is. Take a listen.
Arizona's got some uncertainty at quarterback to start the week. How do you handle that?
Yeah, that's a challenge. I think just both those guys have different skill sets. Obviously, Jacoby went in there and was very productive. I think it was their most productive game up to this date. Offensively. So, but we all know the type of player that Kyler is, because he can make the on schedule and the off schedule. So, it's going to be a little bit more on our players' plate, but that's just the situation. That's what we got to do.
What was it in your mind that Jacoby did so well to spark that offense more?
Just put the ball where it needed to go. And he got the ball out of his hands and was throwing accurately and did a really nice job.
What have you seen from their defense and what Budda Baker brings to that group?
Well, the defense as a whole, obviously we had exposure to them a year ago. It's night and day, in my opinion, just some of the pieces that they've added, especially up front. it's they're playing well, and I think that you can't get too lost in win-loss record. I mean, this is a team that's lost 4 games in a row by 9 points. Like, I think I read something that's unprecedented. So this is a good football team, and we better be ready to play.
Is Marshawn Lloyd any closer to practicing, or is it still going to be a bit?
Well, he's getting closer, I would say.
But not this week.
Is Wyatt getting close to getting back?
He's getting closer. He won't go today, but we'll obviously give him a week.
Last couple games, Georgia seemed to go to Golden in really critical situations down the stretches. What does that say just about progress Golden has made so far this year? What have you seen so far?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily premeditated. I think he's got confidence in whoever's in the right spot. I would tell you that he's going to him based on what the coverages dictate. So, and then, MG's making the plays. So, but I don't think it's, just that he didn't have confidence in him before. He's always had confidence in him, and MG's maximizing those opportunities and doing a great job and showing strong hands. And I mean, that was a heck of an off-schedule play they made on the last or second to last third down of the game.
Matt, you mentioned the 4 straight losses from the Cardinals. How do you get your team to match the kind of desperation that you're going to see? They're going to be at home desperately not wanting to go to the
Sure. I think our guys understand that. I mean, we haven't won on the road either. So we got to do a good job of preparing and getting ready to play our best ball. I don't think we played a complete game up to date. We've had moments in each phase that have been really good, but to do it collectively for 4 quarters, I don't think we've done that. And we're going to need to do that against a really strong football team.
Do you anticipate Colin Oliver being able to, come off PUP at some time, or is that still up in the air?
I'd say that's up in the air, but I mean, we're working towards that for sure.
How did Zach get to the game, and will he practice to start the week?
It could change, but we're not anticipating him going today. But I did talk to him this morning. He's feeling better.
What's the challenge with McBride? Obviously, had a pretty good game against you guys here last year.
Yeah, he's one of the best tight ends in the league right now. They're going to try to get him the ball as much as possible, and they do a great job in doing it in different ways. They use him as a vertical threat. They can get it to him underneath. I just think he's a great competitor and a really good player. He's well-rounded.
There you go. That's Matt LaFleur. And interesting stuff about Zach Tom, who he says he feels better, which is good, but didn't practice today. And he came back, played 1 snap, basically, against Dallas before having to leave the game. It just a weird scenario for what's ailing him right now. The offense, they move the ball without a doubt. They just haven't been able to kind of punch it into the end zone on a consistent basis. And that's, I don't know how else to put it. It seems like the Zach Tom injury, they didn't put him on the IR. They felt that he would just come back and be okay. But in saying that, there's a question as to how maybe Zach Tom and this injury is being handled. Doesn't this seem almost a little befuddling, Grant, at the way things are going right now?
Yes.
As far as the injury goes?
I said this on my show tonight. I'm fine. Injuries are unpredictable and setbacks happen, and I'm not going to blame the player. What I will get my back up about and who I will blame is the organization, like being caught betwixt in between. Like, you got to have conviction with how you treat injuries, right? We're going to hold them out until XYZ happens instead of, well, we'll give it a try. Oh, that didn't go well. We'll shut down a couple days and maybe take a week off and then try again. Like, it just seems like they're taking such a scattershot approach with this.
Yeah.
And it's their franchise right tackle that they just gave a boatload of money to, which is what I don't get.
Right. the Packers have gotten the win and 2 non-wins and okay, but it just doesn't seem like. And again, I guess the positive side of all of this is basically, oh, by the way, they haven't even come close to playing their best football, and they're winning, and they've won games. I did like, you sent me the Bill Huber article. He was talking about stock up and stock down. Certainly you can look at things like Tucker Kraft, who is an integral piece of this offense, Matthew Golden, who's starting to emerge. The surprising thing was that Lucas Van Ness, when the Bengals took the ball for their first series in the second half, they held it for nearly the entire quarter. It looked like they were going to be forced to settle for a field goal thanks to a big play from the Green Bay defensive ends. It wasn't Michael Parsons, it wasn't Rashawn Gary, it was Lucas Van Ness, and Van Ness timed up the snap perfectly, beat Amarius Mims around the corner. He buried Flacco, and it was the type of rush that we rarely see out of Van Ness since he got to Green Bay. The vision that Brian Gutekunst has with the pass rusher being able to win with his front four largely included Van Ness being able to win those one-on-ones with as much attention that has been applied to Parsons. That's even more important. And he says that on that play he did, and they'll need more of that as the season progresses. Van Ness did leave the game with a foot injury, which is going to be something obviously to monitor. He talks about, now Josh Jacobs getting better along the way, and obviously the kicker, Lucas Havrisek, and getting the job done when he was brought over. But I still go back to the injuries, the guys up front, the guys in the trenches. We're going to talk more about this coming up in the next half hour or the next hour of the show. But it just, as I'm reading over this, and I'm kind of looking at a lot of these different things that he has to say, I got a lot of questions in my mind from Mike Clemens, and I'm sure at some point we'll kind of go through all of this and get Mike's opinion. But Mike is supposed to join us coming up next, so I don't want to take too much time kind of overanalyzing things. Stay tuned. We got Mike Clemens is going to be joining us, and he is live. I believe he's now up in Green Bay after being down in Milwaukee last night and working late into the evening on all the Brewers stuff. I think he's back up in Green Bay now. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Huddle coming up right after this.
Oh, yeah. This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
You know, I feel like it's going to take just us all coming together, just being able to feel like our back is against the wall and just understand that in situations like that on road games, it's going to be loud. And I feel like for us, we just got to stay together. I feel like that's all where it starts. And then just go out there and play at all 3 phases, you know, special teams, offense, and defense. You know, just play as one unit and everything will fall in line.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Huddle. Continuing on. Thanks for joining us. As always, we certainly appreciate it. That's the voice of Matthew Golden, becoming that leader and also getting a lot more opportunities, more looks, more playmaking capability, and looks to start to emerge as a bigger piece of the offense for the Green Bay Packers, who got a win over Cincinnati this past weekend, and look to increase the wins as they head to Arizona for a 3:25 kickoff coming up this Sunday. In the meantime, joining us on the hotline, our guy Mike Clemens up in Green Bay. Michael, how you doing today? A lot of travel for you, man.
A lot of travel, and you get up here today, and Matt LaFleur doesn't have much to say. There weren't like a bunch of, we had a long press conference with him on Monday. There weren't a lot of like pressing, breaking stories and stuff that people had. And it was just kind of, casual. Then a long, late afternoon practice. It's a 3:25 start here, 2:25 Mountain Time. I'll be out there in Phoenix to cover that for our show and for our post-game show. So kind of a late practice, and the guys are getting in. We talked to Jordan Love, and you'll hear that on tomorrow's show. So I'm just sort of getting out of the locker room. But you know what? I mean, there was a big huddle of media around Christian Watson, because there always is. Like, are you ready? Are you coming back? This was his second week of a 21-day window of coming back from the ACL. And, he's playing cat and mouse as whether or not this is the week that he comes, or do they hold off until next week when number 9's on the field when they go to Pittsburgh and play Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers on Sunday Night Football? But the other guy that everybody wants to talk to in the media and people that drove from across the state is Matthew Golden. And, there's kind of this story about this, that number 0 is becoming, the guy on clutch plays. So we asked him, what's the key to becoming Jordan Love's go-to guy on third down or in clutch situations in these games?
I feel like the chemistry, we work a lot of those things in practice, so it's nothing new to us. Whenever we are put in those positions, we have the utmost confidence that we can get the job done. I feel like, and it shows, because whenever we need those important drives, I feel like we get them done every time. So, I feel like for us, as long as we keep practicing those things during practice and it come live to the game, it'll just translate and be easier for us.
There is so much quickness, Mike, and he just gets comfortable in his own skin the more he gets the ball. But I just feel like Matthew Golden's got something in him that is eventually going to break loose, because he's just got, you can watch him. He just separates himself from guys once he gets the ball.
Yeah, and when you see him at practice on a Wednesday afternoon, when you saw him the other day during warm-ups before the Bengals game, the speed just jumps out. It just jumps out. And so, we were kind of asking him, with this great speed, does that mean you're always, you're on a go route guy, you're, just flying past corners and trying to get the deep ball, or do they try and get the ball to you more in slants? And most importantly, how can you try and use your speed to create big plays in working with Jordan Love?
Whenever I'm in space, I can make somebody miss and then get upfield. I feel like once I get something like that going, it just kind of carries out throughout the rest of the game, and it just allows me to go out there, play fast, like I said, and then whatever play call we got, I'm running fast and trying to get the ball.
Mike, I never had a chance to really focus and think about it and focus on Matthew Golden during the game to see if he stood on the sidelines and watched guys like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase do their thing. Because Jamar Chase, he could learn a lot from, and the ability to not only, break away, but to go up even in double coverage and be able to fight for a football, and the way he uses his hands and such when he is covered double.
Right. Oh, and we had so many things kind of going on besides injuries on the sidelines, the game itself, and, what Micah Parsons was doing against Joe Flacco, et cetera. But I noticed as, the final seconds tick, I kind of like to watch these guys as they're walking onto the field, how the coaches exchange, and some of these players go up to coaches on the opposing team and you go, oh yeah, that's right. That coach and that player used to work at that other team or together in college or something.
Yeah.
And I thought I saw Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They kind of went over their way to talk to this short number 0 kid from Green Bay. And I said, are you, at the end of these games now, these first 5 games of your NFL career, are you getting the respect from some of these other receivers in the NFL? Like, hey, kid, welcome to the league.
Yeah. Jamar Chase did, T. Higgins. Definitely, when we played Detroit, Amon did. Just looking at the success that they've had, I kind of just try to look at the things that they did in their rookie years, or what they're doing now, just try to use that to my game and just see where it goes.
Is that welcome to the league?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like.
So at least he's being recognized, and they're giving him the pat on the welcome to the league, best of luck type of thing. The big thing for me, Mike, is the fact that he's being utilized more, and he's found himself doing some things that are big league, that are not necessarily rookie mistakes. Go back to Dallas on that 4th down where he just got into the zone, and instead of continuing to run, he just sat there. He turned around, he recognized where he was at, he sat there. Jordan Love delivered the football. You look at just some of the things that he's done over the last couple of games specifically, it's like he's getting comfortable and understanding it a little bit more.
Yeah, and when we talked to Jordan Love today after practice, there was 2 things. A lot of people were asking him questions about the emergence of Matthew Golden as kind of a go-to guy. I also asked Jordan Love about, that Josh Jacobs, your running back. I mean, he had like the perfect game against the Bengals, if you will. 18 carries for like 97 yards, and then 5 receptions for like 57 or something. He came out with over 150 yards total offense between receptions and runs. And I asked Jordan Love about, is that what you want to do? That's kind of like old West Coast offense, right? Like, like Gary Ellerson used to tell us all the time, don't beat up these running backs, get these ball carriers out in space so they don't have to take all those hits in the middle and they can, go downfield, but you can still get in their hands on short passes. And of course, Jordan Love said, no, it's the way the defense is playing you. If they've got Tucker Kraft and, they got Romeo Doubs covered up, then you safety valve, you dump off to number 8, your running back. But yeah, they try and save that guy. And then we asked LaFleur about this. Is Jordan Love now, is he going to start going to Matthew Golden in the clutch plays like he has the past 2 games between Dallas and now the Bengals?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily premeditated. I think he's got confidence in whoever's in the right spot. I would tell you that he's going to him based on what the coverages dictate. So, and then, MG's making the plays. So, but I don't think it's, just that he didn't have confidence in him before. He's always had confidence in him, and MG's maximizing those opportunities and doing a great job and showing strong hands. And I mean, that was a heck of an off-schedule play they made on the last or second to last third down of the game.
Mike, you look at Arizona and their defense coming into this game, they're 24th in yards per game given up. They give up well over 300 yards, 330 yards per game. Points per game, they're sitting at 21.2, which puts them a little bit lower than half in the league. So, if you're thinking about this Packers offense starting to get going a little bit, because don't forget, Cleveland, for what they were, their defense was still rated pretty highly. When you look at Dallas, they should have been able to kind of run the ball all over them. They put up 40 points. But this is another game in which the Packers, you hope that things continue to progress and they get a little bit sharper against a defense that's not one of the top 10 in the National Football League, so to speak.
Yeah, another thing about the Cardinals is, talk about an injury list.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys, Garrett Williams. That's just the defense in terms of guys on the IR. And they still got some veterans over there. Calais Campbell's over there lining up at defensive tackle that your offensive line's going to have to deal with. Budda Baker, is back there at free safety. Max Melton, who's Bo Melton's brother. They're playing the corner. So they've got some pretty good players. Here's the other thing too. Let's talk about this Cardinals team. They come out of the gates down to New Orleans and they beat the Saints. Beat the Saints down in New Orleans. And then they beat the Panthers at home in Arizona, so they're 2-0, off to a pretty good start. They came close to knocking off the 49ers in Santa Clara. Mm-hmm. That was 16-15. They lost to the Seahawks by 3. Then they lost to the Titans by 1 point. And that one, and I know the Titans just fired their coach, but Kyler Murray, he left that game with a foot injury, and they still managed to just be a point away. So in none of these games, no one has rolled on them. You talk about the defensive rankings for Arizona, but no one's rolled it up on them. So they do play these teams tough. Then they went to a Colts team that's just on fire right now with Daniel Jones, and they lost 31-27. But, now you've also got Marvin Harrison. He's into the protocol for a concussion. You didn't have Kyler Murray. You had Jacoby Brissett starting at backup quarterback. They're playing teams tough, except they're in the middle of a 4-game losing streak right now. So, you talk to LaFleur about, so you do see some flashes from this banged-up Cardinals defense. What are your concerns for Sunday's game?
Well, the defense as a whole, obviously we had exposure to them a year ago. It's night and day, in my opinion, just some of the pieces that they've added, especially up front. They're playing well. And I think that you can't get too lost in win-loss record. This is a team that's lost 4 games in a row by 9 points. I think I read something that's unprecedented. So this is a good football team, and we better be ready to play.
Yeah, any team like this, you should be ready to play. I don't disagree with that. And like you mentioned, this is not a team that's just getting rolled over. With their head coach Jonathan Gannon. Now, look, I don't know, other than some of his pedigree and such, how he is putting the team together and how things are starting to come together for this team, because we've seen this act where they'll play great for 7 games and then they go away for the rest of the season. And Kyler Murray plays spectacular football and he's talked about, kind of emerging, and then all of a sudden he goes away or he gets hurt. And this team's just never had any kind of stability over the last, say, 5 to 7 years.
No, they went to, they were a playoff team that was beating the Packers, years back during the early Aaron Rodgers era. And they've had, some changes at the ownership. The young owner died. They've had, they were a hard knocks team, and there was plenty of drama there to cover. It's out there in the desert for whatever reason. But then this Jonathan Gannon is your head coach, and he's a defensive guy. He played safety in college, and he been for a number of teams. He's the assistant coach on defense for the Vikings, for the Colts, for the Eagles, a defensive back coach. And he's also with the Falcons back in the day. Now, this is a guy who just announced this afternoon that he's lost another player to injury. One of their backup tight ends, Travis Volacek, got hurt on a kick return on that turf at Lucas Oil, neck injury, IR. He's out for a year. It's a serious injury. So he just came in from a meeting on that. This is about an hour or two ago, Bill. But this is a weird dude, this Jonathan Gannon. 2 weeks ago, he had this backup running back, Amari DeMarcado, who had a 72-yard run. And just as he gets to the goal line, he starts letting go of the football. That stupid, don't hang onto the football until you get into the end zone. So he didn't break the play. They didn't have possession of the football, and they nullified the touchdown. The coach, just Jonathan Gannon, he finds this, backup young running back who's being consoled by an offensive lineman, and he starts yelling at him in his face, and then he pushes him a couple times into the shoulder pads. Well, the team owners, they fined their coach $100,000, maybe pressured by the NFL. So that's this head coach, Jonathan Gannon. He's kind of a weird dude. Listen to what he's talking about this afternoon. He makes a reference to Michael Vick at the end of this thing, because he's asked about things like Budda Baker, Kyler Murray, who's out with his foot injury right now, Marvin Harrison with the concussion, and the next thing he was asked was, after last year's game, how do you find ways to stop a mobile Jordan Love?
One of the ways to affect the quarterback is not just play a couple coverages. So we try to be multiple in that aspect. I'd like to see us play him a little bit better.
Where's his learning curve been as a rookie?
Fast. He's smart.
With Budda Baker on a play like he had last week where it could have been an interception, but he still gets his hand on the football, is that a situation where when you see him on the sideline, you're still complimenting him because he got the pass breakup, or are you more frustrated that he didn't reel it in?
There's nobody harder on the players than the players. So I know he wanted to make that, but it was still a really good play, but I want to see him make it.
What's Darius returning?
He'll be out there today.
Garrett.
He's doing well. No, he won't be out there this week, but he's doing well.
What boxes would you like to see Kyler check this week?
Make sure that he's healthy enough to play.
Coach, how early in your career did you have to start trying to figure out how to take the emotion out of coaching, as far as when you have all these injuries and you have all these different pieces? When's the first time that you can recall that?
2007, when our quarterback went to jail.
Oh, okay. Wow. Man. All right. On that note, talking about Michael Vick.
Sounds like they're having a good time out there in the desert, huh, Bill?
I'm telling you what, don't ever, anybody in the state of Wisconsin ever criticize Matt LaFleur for doing a presser. That guy, man, he could start reading any kind of a book to you and you'd be asleep in about 8 minutes. Holy mackerel. He has absolutely zero emotion in his voice. Let's do this. We're going to step out. We'll take a quick break. We're talking with Mike Clemens. We got more of the Bill Michaels Huddle coming up after this.
Let me go. This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Coach, how early in your career did you have to start trying to figure out how to take the emotion out of coaching as far as when you have all these injuries and you have all these different pieces? When's the first time that you can recall that?
2007 when our quarterback went to jail.
That's a little, well, honest. Welcome back to Bill Michaels Huddle. We continue on. Mike Clemens joining us on the hotline. And he says it like almost robotically, like it was AI when our quarterback went to jail.
Oh, yeah.
And just stares.
No, and I think they brought this guy in because, tough to defensive-minded coach and disciplinary and all that, but he's wound too tight, man. He's wound too tight. So today at practice, some good news is Anthony Belton, your rookie backup offensive tackle, he was out there with limited practice. Zach Tom, he hasn't really done – he doesn't want to be on camera. But like after the game, this thigh hip thing he's got going on. That remember he told us like a month ago there was a slight tear to that.
Right.
It played in that Bengals game, and he said the pain was excruciating. He almost blacked out at one point. So he did not practice today. But, that offensive line for the Packers is kind of banged up, and yet they got them all out there not only for first-team offense, but out there on special teams as well. So there weren't any more stupid, block kicks happening on field goals or punts and that type of thing. So they're using those guys that way. Christian Watson continues to make progress. Lucas Van Ness, he's got a serious foot injury. It's not broken, but who knows how long he's going to be out. Dontavian Wicks, who had an ankle, he's back. He was back out there limited today, so that's a good sign. Devontae Wyatt, your big defensive lineman, has been so speedy. He's still not back from the knee. He did not participate at all. That kicker, Brandon McManus, did not kick today.
Yeah.
So the backup, the kid that they signed last week off the street, Haversick, he was out there, and they released the kid they had on practice squad, McNamee that was from Ireland. They released him yesterday in the practice squad. So maybe the plan is that that guy who kicked for them on Sunday, they'll bring around to practice squad after Brandon McManus gets back on the field.
I know, Mike, we only got about 30 seconds, but two things. The Zach Tom thing, I watched him early on. I was like, get him out of the game. He just doesn't look right. And he played every snap. I give him credit, and he looked a little bit better in the second half, but he just did not look right, and he was getting beat. And going back to the McManus thing, we watched him kick from 50. Now, granted, he was kicking like not at full speed, but he was still booting him from 50. So are they just now? Is it just precautionary just to keep him out?
He's listed with a right quadricep kicking leg. Did not participate. I'm sure that they're being cautious. You know, they're being cautious. Like, you don't want to do something that's going to make it worse. So give him a couple weeks off so that, he's good to get you back there through the stretch. But no, like I told you, post game and just sort of my senses of what's going on with the team. I was kind of affirmed today is that offensive line, they're starting, but they're not 100%. They are playing out there banged up right now.
No doubt. Good stuff, Mike. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you on Friday, okay?
Thank you, Bill.
All right, bud. There you go. Mike Clemens joining us. 1 hour now, 1 hour yet to go. More of the Huddle buy or sell coming up. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers are in Los Angeles. It's where they're going to take on the Dodgers tomorrow night in Game 3 of the National League Championship Series. Milwaukee is in a big hole after losing the first 2 games at home. They managed to score just 2 runs and had just 5 hits as LA's starting pitching dominated. Teams have come back from down 0-2 before. Christian Yelich says it's easy to say what needs to change for it to happen.
Yeah, we just got to play better. It's not ideal start to the series by any means. It's not what you want to get off to, but just got to continue to battle and, find a way to get the offense going. I got to be better. We got to be better. Just facts, So fly out tonight, take the off day tomorrow, and be ready to battle Game 3.
Again, it'll be Milwaukee and LA in Game 3 tomorrow. First pitch set for 5:08. Turning to the Bucks, they closed out the preseason last night against Oklahoma City. Now their focus will shift to the season opener. That comes next Wednesday at home against Washington. Milwaukee listed as 18-1 to win the Eastern Conference, 60-1 to win the NBA title.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
When a company only does business in Wisconsin, that's Wisconsin Strong. Rural Mutual provides all lines of insurance, including commercial, farm, home, and auto. And your premiums stay right here to keep Wisconsin strong. Local agents, local underwriters, local claims adjusters.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Packers return to the practice field today to start getting ready for a trip to face Arizona on Sunday afternoon. Green Bay sitting in first place in the AFC North at 3-1-1, though all the teams in the division are above 500. Cardinals sitting at 2-4. Kick on Sundays at 3:25. And Wisconsin going to face off against number 1 Ohio State on Saturday afternoon at Camp Randall. Kick is set for 2:30. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Are you ready for some football? He talks green and gold.
Look at the 8!
This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels.
How are we looking on a Wednesday night? How are we looking on a Wednesday night? Good evening to you. Bill Michaels, Huddle, on the air. We've got Grant Bills producing the program alongside, and just so much good stuff to kind of nosh on today. There's a lot to get to. We got our picks coming up here, bottom of the hour. Mike Clemens doing some terrific work. We got buy or sell coming up, but I want to go back to what Mike had talked about in the locker room after the game on Sunday. How much did your ears perk up when he was talking to Zach Tom, and Zach Tom said that the pain was so excruciating he almost blacked out? That's a big statement regarding Zach Tom. I noticed that I think it was Peter Bukowski was tweeting during the game. They said, "Oh my God, just get him out of there. He just doesn't look right."
Right from the rip, the first series.
Yeah. And I was saying the same thing. Like and I wasn't ripping Zach Tom. I was just saying this guy just doesn't look like he's ready. Not yet. I know he's trying to do his thing, but he didn't look like he was ready to go. And, in the second half of the game, I just wonder what happened, because I figured he would have been worse in the second half of the game and not better. But in the second half, he played better. Not great, but better. And I thought, oh, okay, maybe whatever's going on, he worked on a few things, or now he's a little more comfortable. But to know that the pain was so bad, he almost blacked out. First of all, you talk about, guys that go in and play with pain. So you give them all the credit in the world for attempting to do it. And two, it's like, how bad is this injury? And how much, if it's that bad that it was excruciating, does he just need another week or two off just to do nothing?
You just could have given him a month off, put him on IR. I don't think any of the results would have been different. He didn't play against Cleveland, so that game would have been unaffected. I guess I don't know, but did he play against Dallas? I don't think he did. I think he got the next week off.
He played one snap.
Well, he played one. I thought it was one snap in Cleveland and then went out. And then I think he missed the Dallas. My point is, if they had just shut him down for a month.
Maybe you're right. One snap in Cleveland. Yeah.
If they just put him on IR after this happened, I don't think any of the results would have been changed. And I think he'd be in a much better spot. But they're going back and forth on this thing.
Yeah.
And now he's almost blacking out during games like Tom Hanks when he knocks his tooth out in Castaway. That's what I thought of. Like, oh, imagine just falling over on the field. Like, what happened to him? Like, just too much pain.
It was just to listen to that. I'm like, wow. I know guys play with pain. We all know that. But I was just like, wow, that's pretty tough to have an offensive lineman say, I went out there anyway and almost blacked out from the pain. And this has been the thing, is they haven't played together comfortably all season. And you kind of wonder, would it behoove them to keep him out and then maybe bring him back against Pittsburgh for the Sunday night game, or a week after that? There is no more rest for this season, so because eventually you're just going to want everybody, you don't want this thing to get re-injured, and you want everybody healthy. But the Packers are notorious for holding guys out an extra week just to make sure they're good. So I wonder, you'd love to have like 15 minutes of just discussion with Zach Tom about where he's at.
I think their medical staff these days is living more on that reputation than that in practice. I think they've been haphazard and a little bit of a mess with injuries the last, 2 years or so, this year and last year. Like, I don't know. I've questioned a lot of the designations or decisions, and it seems like every year there's a player who feels they're more injured than the Packers think. Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. I think the medical staff these days is, and they just replaced Doc McKenzie, right? He moved to like a senior advisory role and somebody else took over.
Yeah.
I think it's more reputation than practice these days, because they seem to jack up a lot of these injuries recently.
Yeah, Doc McKenzie, like all of us, he was getting up there, and I think he just finally said, okay, enough of me standing on a 20 degree below zero sideline. At my age, I'm probably, can't blame him there. Anyway, that being said, I wanted to talk about that for a minute, kind of go from there. But let's get into some buy or sell. We haven't done this in a while. Let's do some buy or sell, shall we?
In the world of sports, a lot of people say a lot of things.
Get your ass in the front row and study.
Pitchers that have done a good job exploiting Pete's holes.
It was like watching a slow motion car crash in front of your face. Oh my God. There's going to be no time left.
But what passes the big unit test? It's time for Buy or Sell on the Bill Michaels Show.
What do we got tonight, Grand Bills, for this extended edition?
Well, we talk so much Packers. I like buy or sell because it gives us an opportunity in the middle of the week to go around the rest of the league. I want to ask you about the Bills.
Yeah.
Okay. The Josh Allen-led Bills have now lost back-to-back games.
Mm-hmm.
At home to the Patriots is a big favorite, and then on the road at Atlanta. 5 combined turnovers in those losses. And I know many people believe, and I think I believe this maybe, that Josh Allen might actually be the best quarterback playing. Not to say you take him in a big game, but I don't know that anybody's playing football on the level that he is. So I'm just going to ask you point blank, because this is where the rubber hits the road. Buy or sell, $1 million if you're right, nothing if you're wrong. Josh Allen and his Bills will win one of the next 3 Super Bowls.
Oh.
Because this is why I ask. It's so easy. Well, Josh Allen, I mean, he's the best. He's better than everybody. The Bills. Would you actually put that much money on the line that they're going to win a championship? Because something perpetually seems missing with them.
No, it's always something. It's always like there's just one hole. It's like there's one thing that needs to be, made better, and they have not been able to do that. And if I would have to buy or sell that they will win, is it a question they will or will not win?
Buy or sell, they will win one of the next 3.
Yeah, I'm going to sell on that. As much as I think it's their time.
Should be.
And I know if Randy Hawk, our director, is down the hall, he's probably throwing himself in the wall at the office. But until they do it, they haven't. And I can't believe in them. I still think I think what they do with Josh Allen is a lot what the Packers did with Aaron Rodgers. It's every year we're going to have a chance because we have him. We're going to do what we can with him. And if he doesn't play great, we don't have enough to overcome.
Correct.
And that's the reason I look at this and say, yeah, I could probably say, no, they're never going to win one, because they don't put specifically enough around Josh Allen to say, here you go.
It's funny that you mentioned the Packers, because you know what I thought of? The Bills remind me of the Aaron Rodgers Packers had the 2010 Super Bowl never happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, take that year away, and it just feels like every year something would go wrong, or some position group wouldn't be good, or if the quarterback doesn't play amazing, to your point, then they don't have a shot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's easy to say, well, the Bills, they're amazing, and Josh Allen is amazing. I still don't know if I had to put my money on it if I actually believe they'll win a championship anytime soon.
I look at them and I think, other than Josh Allen, who is spectacular?
Exactly. Their defense has taken a step back, and that was kind of their strength. They had Josh Allen and a defense, and now I don't even know that they have a great defense.
And I think, I'm sure to no fault of McDermott, but if you and I do it for a living, but if I said to people right now, tell me their wide receivers, other than Keon Coleman, I don't think many people really would know.
Khalil Shakir, Chargers guy from last year.
Right.
They drafted that tight end, Kincaid.
Yeah.
We all thought that maybe
Dalton
the Packers
Kincaid.
would take him.
Yeah.
Tucker
Dalton
Kraft
Kincaid.
is miles better. That's all. Those are the only guys.
And that's what I'm saying. And then you say, okay, give me one of their stars on defense.
Well, Micah Hyde is gone. I guess
Micah
Greg Rousseau. D-lineman.
Yeah, on their line. And then you probably say Tre'Davious White, who they ended up picking up from Baltimore.
Ed Oliver. Is he still there? The Houston guy?
I think he is, yeah.
Even if I can name a couple of these guys, they're not Micah Parsons, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett.
You also forget they picked up Joey Bosa.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They picked up Joey Bosa. And so, but it's not like they're dominating.
No, they're solid, but a solid defense with Josh Allen. This is what we saw with Rodgers. You get into this trap. If you just have a top 10 defense in Rodgers, it's just such a tough needle to thread. Anyways,
so
I just wanted to take your pulse on the Bills. That's it.
Buy or sell.
The Packers kind of came out of nowhere 2 years ago, got hot in the second half, made the playoffs, and then last year the Commanders kind of did the same thing. So I'm wondering about another team. Buy or sell. They're 4-2, and maybe they won't come out of nowhere the same way that the Packers and the Commanders did. But Drake May and the Patriots are a sneaky team that you could see getting in the playoffs and ruining someone's year.
Yes, you're correct. And there's nothing about them that is spectacular. We just talked about Buffalo. Buffalo's number 3 overall in yards gained when you start to look at, offensively speaking and where they're at. There is nothing spectacular top 10 about the New England Patriots. You know what I mean? There's nothing there that's going to garner you like, whoa, this team's like dynamic. They're not even in the top 10 when it comes to defense.
It's been Drake May. Their defense has kind of been a disappointment. It's been Drake May who's won them a couple games.
So they're giving up over 20 points a game. They are. They're giving almost 23 points a game. Their offense is okay. I guess the benefit that they have right now is they're playing in a division With Miami and the New York Jets, they're terrible. And they've already got a win, a hard-fought win, but they went into Highmark Stadium, which is a place you don't normally go and win, and they got a win, so they didn't have to deal with the weather there. The next time they see the Buffalo Bills, it's going to be at their place. So they've grabbed a little bit of early success. It's whether or not you're going to be able to ride it out. But they could be a sneaky team if they continue to progress, but there's nothing dynamic about them, which I look at their numbers and I think, okay, top 10 in offense in any of the categories that would matter? Nope. Top 10 in defense in any of the categories that would matter? Nope. But they're just, they just figure out a way to win. And young teams like that, they can be dangerous.
Because they don't know what they don't know. And you mentioned the schedule a little bit. They have remaining on their schedule Tennessee, Cleveland, the Jets twice, the Bengals, the Giants, the Dolphins. And it's a last place schedule from last year. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what they can do. Mike Vrabel, Drake May, that'd be kind of fun.
Buy or sell.
Another team in the AFC East. The Jets are 0-6, and they look 0-6. Like they look like they suck.
And now their head coach is getting testy with the media over legitimate questions.
Never a good sign. They lost in London to the Broncos. They had minus 10 net passing yards, which hadn't been done since like the 80s. Aaron Glenn basically let the clock expire before halftime. Garrett Wilson was yelling at him. Now Garrett Wilson's going to miss time. Buy or sell. Everyone should apologize to Aaron Rodgers for the last 2 years, even if it's just a little bit.
Ooh. That's a great question. No, it's no. And I part of me wants to say yes, but I'll say no. And it's not because of what he was dealing with. It was the way in which he went about it.
Sure.
Had it been different, yeah, you probably could say so. But Aaron Glenn, remember, he was with Dan Campbell when Dan Campbell went, 0-10 to start the season his first year. And he said, you got to trust the process. And they wanted Dan Campbell fired. And he just kept saying, you got to trust the process. You got to go through the process. I think that's what he's doing here. I hope that's what he's doing here. He's trying to instill something and create a culture. The problem is when you don't get it right away in New York, all they want to do, Woody Johnson fired general manager, hired general manager, fired general manager, brought in Saleh, fired Saleh, brought in Nathaniel Hackett, listened to Jordan or Aaron Rodgers, did everything he wanted, brought in everybody. It didn't work out. He ended up getting hurt. And the next year there was all these ill will feelings. And then finally he just said, I'd have enough of it. And in 2 years, he scrapped the whole thing. And at some point, you got to say, I've made a good hire. I've got football people in place. I got to trust the process. But in New York, they scream loud. And he doesn't want to hear that because he's made decisions based upon fan reaction. And sometimes you can't do that because just listen to the fans that we deal with at times. So I want to say Aaron Glenn's the guy. I don't know yet, but they're a bad football team that's got to hit bottom if they haven't already. But at some point, things have to get better. They have to get better.
At some point, they can't get any worse. I don't know what the Jets, maybe that's what we're seeing is that it can't get better. I heard this on a podcast. Someone brought this up the other day. I don't remember where. I think it might have been John Middlecoff. Justin Fields, the Jets signed him to 2 years, $40 million, $30 million guaranteed. What on earth possessed them to do that? Like, who are they bidding against there? You know what I mean?
Nobody.
Like, Mac Jones has been very good for the Niners, and I'm skeptical because I thought he was kind of looking back, it's like, oh, well, Belichick hated him and iced him out. Mac Jones is getting 2 years, $8 million.
Right.
2 years, $40 million for Justin Fields? What?
Justin Fields went to Pittsburgh and played really well and was benched just because.
He was fine. He
was winning. Yeah, he was winning, and that's saying something for the Steelers that didn't have the high-level aspirations that they do this year, or at least higher. And they were just trying to throw dart at the dartboard to see what stuck between a cast-off in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, who was terrible in Chicago. And Justin Fields, for all intents and purposes, outplayed Russell Wilson. And they made that decision. So that's what they based it off of. But sometimes you look at guys, look at Daniel Jones, goes to Steichen, who was basically the mastermind of that offense a couple of years ago that Philadelphia had that went to the Super Bowl. Steichen's made something out of his career. He was terrible in New York. Didn't really get a chance in Minnesota. Finds his home in a much better philosophy, in a much less pressure situation with a running game now behind him, to where he's now excelling. He doesn't have to be the man. He just has to accentuate the offense. You look at what goes on out in San Francisco now. Brock Purdy goes down. Next thing you know, Shanahan takes over with a guy that's been a cast-off, like you had mentioned. Suddenly he starts playing well. Sometimes it's just where you land and the guy that you connect with. Sure. And Justin Fields might not be connecting with, maybe he connected in Pittsburgh and got more respect out of from and out of Mike Tomlin than even where he is now.
For your Daniel Jones point, by the way, he's making 1 year, $14 million. You want Justin Fields as your quarterback, fine, but that contract is
Buy or sell.
One more. If the playoffs started today, the 2 top seeds in the AFC, just as everyone predicted, would be Indianapolis and Pittsburgh. The Chiefs are looking better, and the Bills are they're not running away with it. But if the playoffs started today, buy or sell. If you had to believe in either Indy or Pittsburgh as a legit Super Bowl team, you could only pick one of these two. You would take Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers.
Yeah, because I think they have more stars that can shoulder the burden. I think Indianapolis has a very balanced team. I think they got a really good run game, quarterback that's managing the game. Their defense is underrated, good wideouts. I think there's a lot there. But Pittsburgh, you can't ignore what Pittsburgh has. They've got a guy that's been there, done that in Aaron Rodgers. They have got a decent wide receiving core now, as we both know. And in addition to that, you've got TJ Watt on defense, Derek Harmon on defense, who they picked up this year as their first-round draft choice, Cameron Hayward. They've got Keanu Benton. They brought in Patrick Queen from Baltimore a couple of years ago. Alec Highsmith is still there. They've got a team that should be able to win games. Joey Porter Jr. is still there. Jalen Ramsey they brought over from Miami. That should be a defense that should be a lot better than what they are. So if I'm going to have to take one or two teams, I would probably bet on Pittsburgh to get there.
I feel like that's a defense that will trend. Like we've seen this with the Ravens. They start kind of crappy. You're like, what's going on? And then by the end of the year, they get it figured out. I feel like that's going to happen in Pittsburgh. I am happy that Pittsburgh is interesting and in the mix. And when Aaron Rodgers is in primetime games, there's a reason to watch and actually pay attention. So I'm happy for him. I didn't love everything he did at the end, but I don't know. I've had fun watching him. That's buy or sell. Thank you for indulging.
There you have it. Let's do this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll come back at the bottom of the hour. Don't forget, we're going to get into our picks, start to run around the entire NFL. More of the Bill Michaels Huddle on this Wednesday night coming up next.
This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. The Bill Michaels Huddle. This portion of it brought to you by our friends at Point Brewing. Brewing excellence since 1857. It's our friends at Point Brewing. They do such a great job up there with seasonal crafts. Obviously, they've got cider boys as well. They've got the sodas for the kids and maybe for the big kids in us. So many good things right here in our own backyard. That is Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Point Brewing, brewing excellence since 1857. Some things from around the National Football League, stuff that came out today. Did you read the comments from Tua when he had talked about, teammates not showing up to meetings or showing up late and kind of, kind of throwing guys and his coaching staff under the bus.
Mm-hmm. And then today, didn't he walk it back?
Yeah. He said, I made a mistake. I'm owning up to it. I talked to guys on the team about it. I talked to team leaders. They know my heart. They know that the intent was right, but no matter what the intent, when things get misconstrued or however the media wants to portray it, that leaves a void of silence. And again, I hate it when they say, however the media wants to portray it. If you said it, own it. We didn't portray anything. You said it. I hate that. That is such a candy-ass, cowardly way of backing out of a comment. We didn't make it up. He's right there on film saying it. Guys aren't showing up. Guys aren't coming to team meetings, player-only meetings. Do we have a mandatory? Do we not have a mandatory? He said it. God, I hate that. Absolutely hate that.
Just say, hey, I wasn't wrong. I feel that, we need to be more accountable, and that starts with me. I shouldn't have aired it like that, and I apologize. That should have been handled. There you go.
Right.
That's how you should say it.
It's just, and then, Mike McDaniel, who he is painful to listen to. There are guys that coaches or former head coaches that I listen to, and I think I couldn't be in a locker room with that guy. I can't listen to him talk. As much of a hard ass and the depth of knowledge that Rex Ryan has, I couldn't listen to him talk if he's trying to give out some kind of a team speech, because he can't string his words together consistently. Now, maybe he can on the sideline. I don't know. But listening to him as a commentator, it's awful. But listening to Mike McDaniel is painful.
Not to force you to listen to it, but I have 37 seconds question and answer of his press conference today when he's asked to review this era of Dolphins football. Would you like this?
Take a listen to this, because this guy's painful to listen to.
I'm wondering how you view the Mike McDaniel era of Dolphins football to this point.
Well, I'm not in the mindset of reviewing eras. I don't think my job title lends anybody to benefit by me sitting back and reflecting upon. I have problems to solve. My job is a problem solver, quite literally, and bringing. There's new issues to address and attack.
What the hell was that? I'm not made for problems solve. I'm a problem solver. What? I couldn't listen to that guy. I'd be like, Coach, you need to sit down. You need put a towel on your head. You need to sit down. No wonder
burning toast.
Right. Exactly. Just go to Vegas and just talk about Wapner. Just stop. And if you don't know what that is, that's a comment out of the movie Rain Man. He might be incredibly brilliant as an offensive mind. I couldn't listen to the guy talk. You know what? He's the guy. You know what he is? He's the guy that you get pissed at when it's 2 a.m. and you're in line in the drive-through line at Taco Bell. What would you like to eat? Hi, welcome to Taco Bell. I don't want a bean burrito. I want a burrito, a bean burrito. But you're finally like, dude, you're so drunk, you got to go home. Go home. Here, just take a cheese roll up. Get the hell out. Just leave. Guy's a moron, man. I couldn't listen to him. Just crazy. But that's all the time. That's all the time to listen to that guy. So go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, in another Rain Man references, he looks like his clothes are from Kmart. He wears capris that are like one size too small.
Yes. The other thing that I thought was interesting today was that George Pickens was asked about his tenure with the Dallas Cowboys. And he said, because he's going to be coming up on contract and he's having a hell of a year. He said, I wouldn't mind being here. The guys in the locker room, super cool. The energy's great. But like I've said, I always want to showcase my talents, most definitely. In other words, I want to be on the free agent market. Guess who his agent is? David Mulgeta, who is also Micah Parsons' agent, who Jerry Jones refuses to deal with. I can't wait for this whole drama to play out. I hope Pickens catches 25 touchdowns this year and goes for 1,600 yards. And then Jerry's he's a guy we can just do without. Okay. Did you see Jerry said that his defense is just fine and his pass rush is really good?
Jerry, the more I listen to him talk, I envy him. He just lives in his own little world and he gets to play by his own rules.
He's just either just completely in defiance or unbelievably dumb when it comes to being a general manager for a football team, which is, I continually go back to, I look at it now as a very poignant moment. And it gives you a lot of insight into what goes on behind closed doors. When Troy Aikman in the documentary regarding the Cowboys, if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go watch it. When he says, I got tired of basically being beat up, and I'm completely paraphrasing here. But he said, I got tired of being beat up. Well, Jerry Jones played general manager because he didn't know what he was doing. And in the meantime, I'm the one getting killed. And he had a competent team around him for a longer period of time with a decent general manager, he probably would have played longer. Now, granted, he had multiple concussions, but that was because Jerry decimated the offensive line. But he says, I finally just decided to retire because I didn't see anything changing. I wasn't going to get my brains beat out because Jerry was learning how to be a general manager. It was so incredibly telling, and Jerry is still trying to learn how to be a general manager. It's really go look at it. It's really interesting to watch. When we come back, we'll start to make our picks, and we will on Sunday morning we'll drop to our knees at a local church and say a novena or two that some of these things become correct. We got more of the Bill Michaels Huddle next.
The Zone Blitz pregame bash is back. Every Wisconsin home game 2 hours before kickoff at the Blue Moon Bar and Grill. And this year, do I have something special for you? It's a perfect snack for game day or any day. Wenzel's Farm Pro Snack Sticks. Come see me and I'll hand you 16 grams of protein to fuel you through the day. Wenzel's Farm offers that and so much more. Crafted in small batches using premium cuts of meat, perfectly seasoned, and naturally hardwood smoked. Check out wenzelsfarm.com. Made by pros for pros.
Oh, yeah. This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network.
Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you back on a Wednesday night, the Bill Michaels Huddle. We continue on. Good hour and a half so far. I mean, it's just kind of flown by. Now, shark in the water. This is more for our picks than anything at this point. Where are we at? Where are we? Where do we end up last week, and where are we now?
Well, last week you hit 6 of 15. I hit him at 8 of 15. You were at 42% on the year. I'm at 50% on the year.
Okay.
You need one big week, and you're fine. You're fine. We're just going to chase perpetually one big week over and over and over.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Like a gambler that's in the hole. We're looking for a big score.
By the way, when you're talking about gambling, that's the word you want to hear is chase. We need one big. That's never a good sign.
Slow and
That's fine.
steady wins the race.
Hey, you bet real money with our picks at your own risk. Tomorrow night, Pittsburgh is at Cincinnati. Pittsburgh's a 4.5-point favorite, which is weird because the Packers were 14.5-point favorites. I realized they were at home, but the Packers don't blow teams out. So does Vegas think that little of Pittsburgh, or maybe they think Joe Flacco's okay now that he's been there a while?
I think that they believe that Joe Flacco's going to do just enough to keep it close.
Rivalry, maybe that's factored in.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cincinnati. I'll take Cincinnati to cover. I don't know if Cincinnati wins the game. Pittsburgh's been in more than a few squeakers to just get by. They don't have a juggernaut of an offense. Their defense is good. It hasn't hit its peak yet. I think what you look at when it comes to Joe Flacco against Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary and company, that they got pressure on him, but he got rid of the ball. He just ran backwards and threw and lived to fight another day. So I get the feeling that they feel this is going to be somewhat of a lower scoring game, something like a 24-17, 24-20, something like that.
Totals 44.5 at ESPN Bet.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cincinnati to cover in this one, which is a weird pick for me, but I'll go with Cincinnati to cover.
I was surprised. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh because I'm ready to start embracing them a little bit more. I'm not jumping in with 2 feet as a Super Bowl contender, but I think that defense is going to start rolling here a little bit. So I'll take Pittsburgh on the short week. I trust Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, by the way, calling it, what was it, the Icy Hot Bowl between him and Joe Flacco?
Well, I mean, don't forget that the team on the road 64% of the times lose on Thursday night. So that's another reason I'm taking Cincinnati to at least cover.
I like that logic. I will go with Pittsburgh. I'll make it fun. The Rams are playing Jacksonville in London early Sunday morning. The Rams, very nice win last week over Baltimore. Covered easily. One of the picks we both got right. They're favored by 3.5.
Both teams sitting at 4-2. I'm going to go with the Rams and the Rams to cover. Matthew Stafford's having a hell of a year. 12 touchdowns already. 12 touchdowns, only 2 picks. Devontae Adams has 3. Kyron Williams has 3. Puka Nacua has a couple. They're rushing the quarterback. Do you know Byron Young already has 7.5 sacks in the season and 9 tackles for loss? They're getting
That
after
D-line.
it. I'll go with the Rams to win and to cover.
I will as well. I'm not going to stop picking the Rams yet. They have done good for me the last couple of weeks, with the exception of that Thursday night game. I don't want to watch this game. New Orleans at Chicago.
Yeah, how about
the
that?
Bears after that Monday night win, favored by 4.5 at home. It's a nice number for them.
I'm going to take the Bears. Can you believe I'm saying this? Caleb Williams says, I don't give a damn about the criticism today. Did you see the team and the post game with Ben Johnson getting them fired up?
Yeah.
And the guys in that locker room believing in Ben Johnson? It's like, I hate to say it, but something's going on at Soldier Field. And he might have been the guy to start pushing all the right buttons, but the Bears sitting at 3-2. The Bears are about to go to 4-2 on the season, and the Bears winning cover. I'll take them.
Cowherd said it today or maybe yesterday, and I think it's a good take. Ben Johnson has just gotten there and just gotten rid of the stupid stuff. We're not going to have dumb turnovers. We're not going to make huge clock errors. And it turns out when you can do that in the NFL and you have a little talent, which the Bears do, you can win some games.
Right.
And an opponent like the Saints is the perfect opponent for that type of win. So I'll take the Bears at home as well. Miami at Cleveland.
This is a painful game.
There's a couple of these, man.
1-5. Oh my God.
Cleveland's favored at home by 2.5, though.
I'm taking Cleveland. I think the Miami Dolphins are in that much of a mess. And I think what Tua said was the truth. I think what Tua said was dead on. I think he's feeling pressure inside that locker room to walk it back. And I think I think Mike McDaniel is on his way out. I think Cleveland gets the win, and I'll take it. Not by a point or two. I say they win by 3 or more. But not that Dylan Gabriel is going to come in and light things up. But I've never had a big belief in Tua. He's had a couple of flashes. They cannot put everything together in Miami. And I think that defense is going to crush Tua. So I'm going to take Cleveland to win at home.
I will as well. I like them in this spot. I just think Miami's got too much going on. This game will not be appreciated by the masses, but there's a fun storyline here. Tennessee just fired their coach, and who's coming back to town? Their old coach, Mike Vrabel. The Patriots, who were 4-2, first in the East, they are favored by 6.5.
I am going to take the Patriots to win and cover. This is the win one for our coach and go beat the hell out of him game. Drake May, if I would have told you that he's one of the top quarterbacks in the National Football League via quarterback rating, you'd say I'm crazy.
He's up there.
10 touchdowns, 2 picks, quarterback rating of 112.5. Stephon Diggs, closing in on 400 yards, has not dented the end zone yet. I think he gets a touchdown in this one. But nevertheless, they're getting it done. They're running the ball. They're Ramondre Stevenson, 150, 300-something yards total, but they're utilizing him out of the backfield. He's running the football. They've got some guys that can get after it defensively. Like I said, there's nothing there that stands out. I just think Cam Ward is in a bad situation. This reminds me a lot of the first year of Urban Meyer in Jacksonville. Remember that? It was a train wreck. And you couldn't get off to a good start because the coaching was so inept and it was so poor, and it was just, and Trevor Lawrence never had a chance. I kind of feel like this is the same thing for Cam Ward. So I'm going to go with the Patriots on the road to get the win.
Now, in some games, I would want the home team. We're fighting for our honor. We're not going to let our old coach come back and stop us. But Tennessee blows. And what reason would the sports gods have to help Tennessee out? You know what I mean?
None.
Like they just haven't earned the benefit of that. So I'll take New England by 6.5.
That's an owner that has no clue what he's doing.
Fire coach, fire terrible. GM, draft quarterback, keep going.
When Bud Adams died, and then the family took it over, and then they eventually sold it, and the guy that just had the biggest bag of money showed up. He has no clue what he's doing. He listens to fans. He listens to buddies, and that's how he hires. And I think he's an idiot. I think he's run that franchise into the ground. They want him to sell. He's trying to get another stadium, and that thing is an absolute positive mess. And Cam Ward can't save that organization. Not right now.
Let's go to Arrowhead. The Chiefs will host the Raiders. 12.5-point favorites. The Chiefs, people are backing on the Chiefs. They got a little healthy on offense, and they're scoring points again.
Well, Rashee Rice is back too.
Got two.
You know,
which, by the way, may I just say, everyone's acting like he got in a car accident. Didn't he flee the scene? People were hurt. Was there someone who died?
Right.
Like the way that's been treated by his teammates and him is bizarre. But set that to the side.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'll take the Raiders to cover. That's a big number for a team that hasn't necessarily hit on all cylinders yet. And the Raiders are desperate. They're desperate for a win at this point. So I'm going to take, and I think, I think both coaches are very, very good. Pete Carroll, nowhere near as good as Andy Reid. But I got to think the Raiders are going to have something in them. And it's a divisional game. I'm going to take the Raiders to at least cover.
I'll take the Chiefs. I'm feeling them the last couple of weeks, and I got to mix it up. Philly is in Minneapolis to play the Vikings, and they're favored by 1.5. We don't know if it's McCarthy. He was limited today.
He said he's not 100%.
He had a setback or something that injury isn't quite there. It's not progressing.
I'm going to take the Vikings. I think the Vikings get after Philadelphia in a defense, and I have no judgment on this. I have no analytics to tell me one way or the other. I just think right now Philadelphia is back to where they were. Remember when they went on that 10-0 run, but everything still, it just seemed dysfunctional. And then after that, they started losing ball games. I think they started off 4-0 and they've been dysfunctional and now they're losing. And I don't know if they're going to get it right because it's not like they're sitting there with a ton of injuries. They're just a goofy football team. I'll take Minnesota at home, US Bank Stadium. Minnesota gets the win.
I have no clue. I'm going to take Philly just so we're not picking the same team here. This feels like a total coin flip. I don't know that the quarterback matters.
Right.
I think Philly, because I don't think they're going to go out like this, not at least in week 7. They might crash and burn in week 13 or 14, but I can't jump off of them yet. One more noon game. Carolina, this noon slate is not.
No.
Don't cancel
Oh my
your plans
God.
on Sunday.
It's like if you're thinking at any point in time during the week of offing yourself, that might be the time you end up doing it when you look at this noon slate of games.
Don't get up early to go to the early mass. You can go to the late one and get home a little late. Carolina is in East Rutherford to play the Jets. The Panthers favored by 1.5. Just beat the Cowboys last week. Nice win.
Right. And Dalwiddle just went off. It was crazy. 239 yards from scrimmage. And he said to the Dallas Cowboys coming into the game, because that was the team that cut him, he said, buckle up. I don't know if you saw the quote, but he told him, he said, I'm coming. And I'm going to run it down your throat. Buckle up. He told him. This is what I'm going to do. And then he kicked their ass with 239 yards from scrimmage. 183 yards rushing the ball. So I like what the Panthers are doing. Do I dare say the Jets go to 0-7? No. The Jets have to put something together. I think this is when they do it. I think the Jets get the win over Carolina and finally get their first win of the season.
Panthers. I think the Jets stink, and now Garrett Wilson is hurt. But this would be the classic NFL spot where the Jets would finally do it. But I don't know. I'm buying a little bit of what the Panthers were selling. So to me, it's more about the Panthers.
Yeah.
That's the noon slate. If we want to break, we can come back.
All right, let's do this. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got a lot more to get to. We got the afternoon slate, including the Green Bay Packers upcoming, and the remainders of our picks, including the Monday night contest. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Huddle coming up right after this.
Oh, yeah. This is the Huddle with Bill Michaels on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back in. Bill Michaels Huddle, Wednesday night. How we're looking. Good stuff. Going through one of my favorite segments of the whole week is when we make our picks. Mainly for the fact that I'm trying to get back in the but nevertheless. The Green Bay Packers, all in general. So let's get to it. What else we got?
I'm torn on this one to start the 3:30 slate. We have the Giants in Denver. Denver's favored by 7.5. They probably should have lost to the Jets last week.
Right.
If anyone was actually watching that game.
Man, it's tough. They both teams can run the ball. Scottaboo has been 500 yards from scrimmage so far, 5 touchdowns. But J.K. Dobbins is just as good. They've got a good run team as well. I'll take what's the spread?
Denver minus 7.5.
I'll take the Giants to cover. I'll take Denver to win, but I think the Giants cover in this one. I don't know why. I just got a feeling. No specific reason.
I would normally pick against Denver with that number, but I think they're better than they've shown, and I think this is the type of defense and the type of venue that would rattle Jackson Dart as a rookie. So I will take Denver, even though I don't really think that highly of them. Well, mostly Bo Nix. Every other part of the team I think is fine. Bo Nix I think kind of stinks, relatively at least. So I'll go with Denver to cover 7.5. Indy at the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers at home favored by 1.5. Sneaky, huge, very good game that I wouldn't have thought a month ago.
Right. I like what the Colts are doing. I like the fact that do you realize that Jonathan Taylor has 750 yards?
Yeah, I'm on my fantasy team, and my fantasy team still sucks.
Holy mackerel. He's got 7 rushing touchdowns. He's got 1 receiving touchdown. Like I said, he's taking the pressure off of Daniel Jones, who is playing fantastic. The Colts have won 5 of the first 6 games for the first time since 2009. And they lead the NFL in scoring offense. They're averaging 32.2 points per game. I just don't know if that travels. God, I want to take the Colts. Make your pick and then I'll make mine.
Colts. I'll take them.
You going with the Colts? Okay.
I am.
Yeah. Has the luster fallen off of what I thought was going to be a really good Chargers team?
I still think they're good. I just don't think they're particularly flashy, and their O-line's banged up.
My heart says take the Colts, so that's what I'm going to do. I just keep thinking of trying to talk my way into a way for a home team on the West Coast to win. But I'll take the Colts.
And that's fine. I will take the Colts as well. Washington in Dallas. The Commanders, who blew it on Monday night, favored by 1.5.
Taking the Commanders. They're not going to get to Jaden Daniels, and he's going to have a field day. And I'm taking the Commanders. I want to see Dallas lose every game from here on out.
Why?
Well, because Jerry says they got a great pass rush. They got a lot of really good pass rushers ready to break loose. So I'm going to go with that.
That's fine. That's spite. Yeah. I like that. Sunday Night Football will skip the Packers. Atlanta at San Francisco. Sneaky good game.
Yeah.
San Francisco favored by 2.5 at home.
Taking Atlanta. Taking Atlanta on the road to win the game and cover. I don't know. There's just Atlanta looked like all of a sudden a different team. Bijan Robinson, 822 yards from scrimmage. Even though McCaffrey, he's got 780. But Mac Jones has found himself. Michael Penix is still trying to find himself. As long as he doesn't commit the big turnover, Atlanta's pretty good. And remember, San Francisco's defense decimated. Fred Warner went down with a dislocated ankle. Bosa's gone. No Kittle. I mean, they're so. I'm going to say Atlanta. Atlanta gets a win.
I will take Atlanta as well. Fred Warner being out might be a tipping point. We'll see. It'll be a good job by Kyle Shanahan if they're competitive. Tampa Bay at Detroit. We have 2 Monday night games.
Again.
I know.
I'm not liking the 2 Monday night games, to be honest with you.
The Lions minus 5.5 at home.
I'm going to take the Lions. I know it's tough for me to do so. No, I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to cover.
Ooh.
Even if they don't win, they'll cover. The number for the Lions got beat. I get it. But because they got drilled in Kansas City. But I just Tampa Bay's got something going on. They're winning games like in the last second. They're fighting their asses off, and that's the kind of street fight the Lions don't want. I'll take the Tampa Bay. I'll take Tampa Bay to cover. I'm not saying they're going to win, but they're at least going to cover in this one.
I'll take Detroit. We got about a minute to do Texas at Seattle before the Packers Seahawks by 3.5 at home.
I'll take Seattle all day long. The Houston Texans stink.
I will as well. They can't score, and Seattle's really good, so I like them in the spot. Green Bay at Arizona. They're favored by 6.5.
6.5 is a tough number.
I'm going to do it.
They should win by more than 6.5. Yes, you know what? I'll take the Packers to win.
Same.
Last time I did it, Packers screwed me. So I'm giving them one more shot. I'll take the Packers to win and to cover, and all of us to be dancing happily in the streets after the fact.
6.5 is not 14.5. I can get on board with that. They should win by 6.5. I'll take the Packers.
There you go.
That's
it. That's easy enough to do. All right, that's going to do it for us. It's time for us to get out of here. Another great Wednesday night. A lot of fun, as always. Back at it again tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central Time. Until we talk again, have a great one, man. Have a good one. Good stuff tonight.